Lots.
Yeah, I know. Hi there, I'm Harrison with Georgia Firing Line, and I'm our e-commerce director and head of new brand development. And I really like LMT. But we're not here to talk about this today. We're here to talk about one of my personal guns. This is my LMT Sbr. Because we're recording this on the Marine's birthday, typical fashion, we're gonna go tip to butt. Out in the front, I've got an Otter Creek Labs Polonium 556 Duty. It's one of my favorite suppressors. It is a really, really good balance between size and sound and not a whole bunch of back pressure. And we've actually got a video that we already did on that. Click the link up here to see a little bit more on that. Going back, it's attached to the 10.5-inch chrome bored DI barrel via the Dead Air Keymod, not Keymod. The suppressor is attached to the 10.5-inch chrome bore 1-in-7 twist barrel via the Dead Air Chemo system. It's one of the fastest on-off systems, and it can be adapted to most suppressors, which means it's what I've standardized on because I've got a lot of silly stuff and I like to have my cans on everything. Going back from there, we've got a Modlite PLH V2 in tan because it's brighter if it's in tan, on a light bar mount to pick into a DS00 switch because I like having a backup in case the switch or something gets pulled out or anything like that. It's good to just have a backup. But that's going into a Surefire pad that I can click toggle or I can pressure pad in. It's actually really, really nice, so you don't have to just keep mashing your thumb in one spot the whole time. That all is snaked around a MAL C1 Plus. It is my favorite civilian laser illuminator combo. The illuminator you can get on a MAL is honestly the best on the market right now. The VCSEL design that they've got is just the best. I run full power PEC 15s, D-Ball A2s, which are kind of medium power, and a few other things like the Russian Purst and Wilcox Bosses and Raptors and that kind of stuff. And honestly, my favorite illuminator combo out of all of them is the MAL. And again, in tan, because it's more accurate that way. Going back from there, got CAC broom handle, classy. Got to keep the CAC there. Rolling back from there, we've got the Aimpoint T2. It's a standard. It's one of the best duty use optics that we've ever run. I run some of the bigger optics, but on this, the gun was already getting heavy enough with all the stuff I'd strapped to it. And I figured let's go with a micro body optic. And no, let's go with a micro body optic. Just cut there. So moving back from there, I've got the Aimpoint T2, industry standard, absolute bomb-proof optic, sitting on top of the Unity fast mount, again in tan, more accurate that way. I really like the Unity mounts because they give you backup irons in there, and I was sort of running out of room to get a front iron on my gun. I could run it right here, but honestly, I'd rather just have the integrated front sight post and the rear sight leaf in here. And I also like that it gets it up a lot higher. So when I'm using night viz and I'm passively shooting, it's a lot easier to see through the T2. And then, to match with that, I've got the Unity magnifier mount, again, in tan, with the Trijicon MRO HD magnifier. It's better than the Aimpoint magnifiers. You can argue with me, and you're wrong, and that's okay. I like it because it has better eye relief than the Aimpoint magnifiers, and the short EOTechs that actually have a little bit nicer footprint don't have the same eye relief or the same clarity. It's one of my favorite overall magnifier size for dollar value for performance. It just, you gotta almost double the price to get about the same performance, which it makes it a no-brainer pick in my mind. I really, really like these things a lot. And that's on a QD. So if I want to, I can pop it off if I'm not doing anything outside 100, 150 yards and throw it in my pack, throw it in my bag, throw it in the back pocket, whatever I want to do. And when I need to take a shot out beyond that, QD it right back on. Then all of that is held together by the LMT Mrs-L 9¼ which is their monolithic rail platform. From all the way back on the upper to the very front, it is one solid piece so that there is zero chance for shift, zero chance for anything to change as I'm shooting or to be misaligned from the optics to the lasers, even to the light. It's one rigid platform, and added benefit, I can use these two bolts right here to quick change out my barrels. So one of my favorite things, I actually have a 6/8 barrel that I use for hunting pigs because it is a great caliber for hunting pigs, but it's not something I want to shoot every day. Honestly, the ammo's not as available, it's a little more expensive to shoot, and I'd rather train with 5.56 and have the ease of ammo use. But with two bolts, I can do that, pull it right out, and slap in a 6.8 spec barrel and be shooting a lot heavier bullets that are good for fleshy mediums. Moving down from there, I took this whole upper assembly, the real kind of meat of it, and I put it on an Lmt Mars-L Sbr complete lower. They take a lot of good pieces and put it all around their Mars-LS stripped lower. It's got full ambi controls on the safety, on the mag release, and on the bolt catch and bolt release, which is not an industry standard. A lot of people have ambi bolt releases, but not a lot of people have ambi bolt catches. Right here on the right side, pull back and hold down just like you would on the left side of a lower receiver. It's really easy to lock back your bolt and clear jams, show empty, however you want to do it, or whatever you want to do with it. That's a really, really awesome capability to have. And if you're going between shoulders and changing your dominant hand when you're shooting, that is a phenomenal thing to have for clearing malfunctions and for just general purpose maintenance of the rifle and shooting. What are all the parts that LMT completes out their factory lowers with? You've got the LMT 2-stage wire EDM cut trigger. It's a really, really solid performer. A lot of the included triggers you get with firearms and lowers, you end up replacing with something with a Geisley or a LaRue trigger. And honestly, those are still great options. What I really love about the LMT triggers are, I don't feel like I need to replace them. They're a solid duty trigger that actually is a great lightweight 2-stage DMR trigger. I don't need to replace it. I don't need to go to an SSAE if I've got this out of the factory. And it's actually a really good bow shape. It's right between a flat and a curved, and it's similar to kind of the SSAE Expo that Geisley does. Moving back from there, we've got the LMT SOTMOD buttstock mounted to a dry film lube 6-position buffer tube. So you get all the positions to put your sling into. So where does this gun fit into my collection? Honestly, it's one of my favorite nighttime guns. I've got a couple that I use for nighttime, passive, and active shooting. And this being a 10.5-inch 5.56 means that I can feed it kind of whatever ammo I want, whether it's standard 193 55 grain, or I can give it a little spicier stuff if I'm doing some spicier things. But MAL and the mod light mean that whether I'm using nods or not, I can see what I'm shooting at. And the polonium means that I can be quiet while doing it. Not having a sort of adjustability or ballistic drop built into the T2 limits me to about 400 yards safely. The base rifle as it comes from LMT is already incredibly soft shooting. Adding a little bit more weight to it and the suppressor hanging out front means it is an incredibly soft shooting platform and really, really, really easy to control, especially when I've got my mind on doing other things like not whacking into a door jamb in a vehicle with my night vision or helmet, or trying to run and shoot at the same time, because let's be honest, I'm not that coordinated. So, who would benefit from a gun like this? Two main use cases pop into my mind. One, if you've got nods or if you've got aiming devices that you need to get out on the upper receiver and have zero questions asked about them keeping their zero, shifting absolutely none, then honestly, any of the LMT monolithic uppers, whether it's the MRPL Quad, MRPL M-Lock, either in the 9.25 or the 13-inch, or if you're one of the spicy boys who can find a shovel nose or one of the mid-lengths, then good for you. If you're someone who's looking to stamp a lower, or a whole gun for that matter, the LMT lowers are honestly my favorite one. It's what I own the most of that are SBR'd, and it's for a good reason. Because of the ambi feature set, the mil-spec footprint, and honestly, the obtainable price on them, these lowers are my favorite. And it's what I own the most SBRs out of right now. Thanks for watching through to the end of the video. If you want to see more builds like this and other really cool LMT stuff, now that we're an official dealer for them, go ahead and leave a like, comment down below, and get in touch with us somehow. We really want to know what you guys think about this and what you want to see. And don't forget, we have a link tree too. All right, that's it. I'm done. I'm out. I'm Harrison, Georgia Firing Line. Be weird. Stay safe. Later. God, I'm so glad we're an LMT dealer now.